What's up guys, my name is Ace, and this week's Aftermarket part unlocked via the weekly challenges in Modern Warfare 3 is the JAK Slash Underbarrel. So in today's video, we're going to be doing a deep dive into this to see exactly how it works and whether or not it's worth using over some of the other potential options for meleeing. And let's just dive right into this. If you just look at the pros and cons, it doesn't really look like it has anything to do with melee, although the description mentions that it's a vertical grip that doubles as a combat knife, and it will replace your melee attack with a lethal slash. So that's primarily what we're going to focus on in this video, but it is worth also quickly going over the pros and cons, because it doesn't just affect how you melee. When it comes to the pros, it improves nearly all of our movement speeds, aside from our aim walking movement speed, but it does allow us to sprint faster, tactical sprint faster. Our base movement speed is also faster with this, so that's a nice bonus there. And then on top of this, we get an 8% improvement to our vertical recoil, which isn't massive, but I mean, it's a nice little benefit. And let's just look at a couple side-by-sides here so you can see how much of an impact this grip has on recoil on its own with no other attachments in play. With the STG-44 here, the change is fairly subtle, but it's absolutely there. This will make the gun a little more accurate with that vertical recoil. There are less jumps and gaps between those bullets, especially with those initial 10 or so bullets that you fire. And then let's have a look at it on the new static HV SMG as well, which, by the way, you can use this underbarrel on pretty much any gun that allows for an underbarrel. And with this one, the difference is actually slightly more pronounced, I would say. We definitely see some recoil improvements here by just using this JAK Slash grip. So even outside of the melee ability, this grip does have some nice pros attached to it. However, we've got some pretty big sacrifices here to our hipfire and tactical stance spreads. It's going to be harming all of these values by roughly 10 to 12%, which is absolutely noticeable, and therefore you definitely don't want to be using this on a hipfire or tac stance build. And there we go. With all of those pros and cons out of the way, now we can finally get into the primary purpose for this underbarrel grip, and that is its melee ability. And the way this works is you don't have to do anything special, but if you have this grip equipped on the weapon in your hand and you try to melee somebody, instead of hitting them with the butt of your gun, your character will actually automatically detach this underbarrel grip and use it as a knife to slash the enemy player. And what this means is it will now be a one-hit kill rather than a two-hit kill, because without any attachments or anything, if you just try to hit somebody with your gun butt in this game, you will only deal 90 damage, which isn't enough for a one-hit kill. So that is a nice benefit, but that's not the only benefit you get from this when it comes to your melee attack. So let's dive into our list of melee weapons. I'm not going to talk about the individual melee weapons in the melee category. I just wanted to put them there for comparison's sake. But let's first look at what happens when we use the butt of our gun. Like I said, you're only dealing 90 damage here, so it's a two-hit kill. And our range is only 1.6 meters on this, which isn't great by any means, although it does give you a great maximum hit angle because you're so close to your target at 50 degrees. Now, a big thing I was thinking when I first saw this grip is it's just going to offer you an alternative to get effectively the same thing as the melee muzzle attachments. There's actually a few of those muzzle attachments you can put on that increase your melee damage and allow you to get a one-hit kill melee. So I did do the testing on that as well, and it turns out with that, it has exactly the same stats as the base gun butt hit, but now you're dealing 150 damage instead of 90, so it'll be a one-hit kill. And it turns out this underbarrel grip doesn't perform exactly like that. Instead, it performs exactly like what happens if you currently have a throwing knife in your inventory and you attempt to melee somebody, because the little trick to that is you will actually slash the enemy player with your throwing knife instead of hitting them with the butt of your gun. And there's no attachments required to make that happen. You just need that throwing knife in your inventory. And this is what this underbarrel grip replicates. We get the exact same stats as if you had that throwing knife. So that frees up your equipment slot while allowing you to get this one-hit melee that also has a very slightly longer range than just using the base gun butt or using one of those melee muzzle attachments. Now, the downside to this is our maximum hit angle isn't quite as amazing, and also our time between two hits is going to be slower, but you should only need one hit in this case, so that part doesn't matter nearly as much. And really, that's all there is to break down with the JAK Slash grip. And personally, I think this was an interesting addition to the game. I like the idea of this, because up until now, when it comes to attachments to help with meleeing, our only options for a one-hit kill have been in the muzzle category, and sometimes you want to have that melee ability, but you don't want to sacrifice your muzzle. Maybe you want to have a suppressor on your build, or maybe you just really need something that helps a lot with recoil control, and the muzzle attachments are generally the best for that. So this new grip allows you to get that one-hit melee without having to sacrifice your muzzle attachment to gain that power. And it also ensures you don't need to put a throwing knife on your class to get that same sort of a slash. Now, at the end of the day, do I see myself using this very often? No, probably not. I'm typically not running around meleeing people with a gun, and if I am gonna go melee only, I'll probably just use a dedicated melee weapon. But at the same time, it's all about options, and there's nothing quite like this in the game as of right now within the underbarrel slot. So I'm all for unique attachments that fill a new role that didn't already exist, rather than just adding something that's basically the same as something that's already in the game, but just slightly different. This particular attachment is truly unique. So that's why I do think this is a good addition to the game. Now, of course, these are just my opinions, and I'd love to hear what you guys think about the JAK Slash Grip in those comments down below. Are you guys happy about the addition of this to the game? Do you see yourself using it at all? Just let me know down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.